This is your High Desert Sports Report, the Victor Valley's only weekly action highlights sports program, covering our area's schools, teams, athletes, and sporting events. The Mojave River League Championship is decided in upset manner. Oak Hills stunning Apple Valley at the Dog Pound. Closer games than many expected across the board on Howard's high school football scoreboard. Serrano beats Sultana, and Hesperia wins at Burroughs in the other next to the last regular season MRL games. Silverado secures at least a share of the Desert Sky League title with the 28-24 win over the Saints. Granite Hills keeps hopes alive for a possible share of that DSL title and guarantees the Cougars a playoff berth with the hard-fought victory over the Jackrabbits. Oak Hills beats Apple Valley 21-14 in the battle for the Mojave River League Championship. Prince Thomas from 13 yards out, tying the score at 14. Buddha Paletti, 8, scoops and scores on the aborted field goal attempt as the Bulldogs roar back from a 14-0 deficit to upset the Sun Devils. The first Oak Hills touchdown comes just before halftime. Andrew Garcia, 49 yards to Shane Young. The 21-14 Oak Hills win leaves first-year coach Robert Metzger's Bulldogs alone atop the MRL with one regular season game remaining. Oak Hills hosts Sultana in that final regular season game. Detailed action highlights of the huge Bulldogs win upcoming straight ahead on our next high school football report, including the status of Apple Valley's loss to injury of quarterback Jaden Max Denigo, mammoth lineman Raymond Polito, and leading ground gainer Caleb Most. Howard's brings you this high school football report. Howard's, recognizing and supporting the teams, athletes, schools, and sports programs throughout the Victor Valley. Your High Desert Sports Report is brought to you by Down Home Grill in Victorville on the corner of Bear Valley Road and Ridgecrest Road.
Sold.
Bid fast and last, sold on supporting High Desert sports. Howard's, recognizing and supporting the teams, athletes, schools, and sports programs throughout the Victor Valley. The Bradco Companies, supporting all of the teams and sports programs throughout the Mojave River Valley. Iwanzak Law Firm, trial lawyers for serious problems. Valu Quality Truck Body. Valu manufactures state-of-the-art truck bodies for the construction industry nationwide. Greiner Buick GMC in Victorville. Greiner has the best damn used cars, period. And by the Community Table Restaurant in the Holiday Inn in Victorville, supporting high desert teams, athletes, and sports programs. Terry Kurtz here, inviting you to join us on Terry Kurtz Online, the half-hour report on High Desert and Mojave River Valley events and activities, entertainment, and history. It shows 3 times daily at 7:30 and 11:30 mornings and 4:30 in the afternoon, right here on Victor Valley TV, immediately following your High Desert Sports Report. It's the most informative and entertaining half-hour of High Desert television today. Mojave River League and Desert Sky League champions have been decided, barring huge upsets in the final week of regular season games. Oak Hills first-year coach Robert Metzger guided his team to a full circle reversal, returning the Bulldogs to top dogs in the MRL. The 21-14 victory over Apple Valley, clearing the final hurdle to the title. The Bulldogs rallied from a 2-touchdown deficit, shutting out the Sun Devils in the second quarter and entire second half after Apple Valley established a 14-0 first quarter lead. The victory required clutch performances and major impact plays from a number of Oak Hills heroes. The first Oak Hills touchdown comes just before halftime Andrew Garcia 49 yards to Shane Young. The Bulldogs' cause aided by a triple witching dose of extreme misfortune for the Sun Devils, who lose their three main offensive leaders to injuries. Apple Valley had started out strong behind their vaunted ground game. Caleb Most 16 yards, then 15 yards on the visitors' first two plays from scrimmage. The opening drive consists of nothing but running plays, although not by design. Jaden Max Denigal at his scrambling best, appearing unstoppable, plowing through Oak Hill's defenders for a 20-yard gain. The Bulldogs' defense does come up with big stops along the way in the early going. Matthias Solaita, 34, senior defensive end, and Noah Lopez, 25, senior strong safety, combine for no gain. Now in the red zone, Raymond Polito, 79, and 55, Lane Johnston clear the path. Jaden Max Denigal gains 5 to the 2. Bulldogs defenders demonstrate their resolve. Carson Fox, 20, freshman, middle linebacker, leading tacklers with the stop, throwing back the quarterback for no gain. 3rd and goal at the 2. Jaden Max Denigal follows Raymond Polito into the end zone, capping the 10-play drive, a drive that consumes the first 7 minutes of the contest. Sun Devils' second possession after Oak Hills goes 3 and out. Jaden Max Denigal from 46 yards out on a running play all the way. 14-0 Apple Valley, just over 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Apple Valley's defense equally impressive at the outset, forcing Oak Hills 3 and out on their second possession. Lane Scharnberg with the leaping sack. Lane Scharnberg, senior strong safety. Bulldogs defensive standout. Watch the diving tackle by David Cardiel, 42. 8 is senior linebacker Buddha Paletti. He is the Bulldogs' leading tackler on the year. After a near-flawless, penalty-free first quarter, Apple Valley's second quarter offense hurts itself with multiple holding penalties. 3rd and 11. Javon Comas brings this Apple Valley possession to a screeching halt with the pass interception. The second interception of the season for the senior cornerback. This is 3rd and 3 from their own 31. Andrew Garcia hits Shane Young, who shakes a tackler and carries to the 39. Apple Valley gets it right back on Logan Moon's interception. Just the second time this season, the Bulldogs' senior quarterback has been intercepted. But the Oak Hills defense is about to serve up a 3-and-out sequence of their own. On 3rd and 16 at midfield, the pass receiver is stopped in his tracks, and Oak Hills is about to get the ball back with 2 minutes remaining before halftime. From midfield, Andrew Garcia leads Shane Young, who has flown past the Sun Devils defender, 49 yards, the scoring play. Andrew Garcia's 13th touchdown pass of the year is unlucky for the Sun Devils. Bulldogs pull within 7, 14-7, with a minute and a half to go before halftime. Charles King sacks Jaden Max Denigal on the final play of the first half. Charles King is 6'1", 232, a sophomore nose guard. 2 plays earlier, Apple Valley's 6'8", 340-pound Raymond Polito goes down when his running back falls on his leg. Sun Devils coach Kyle Godfrey processes the first of the worst misfortunes imaginable as his team holds their 14-7 lead at the half. The Oak Hills offense clicks on all cylinders to start the second half. Andrew Garcia to Shane Young, and the Bulldogs are into Sun Devils territory. Prince Thomas caps the 4-play, 80-yard drive, sprinting to the outside and racing into the end zone untouched, scoring from 13 yards out. Oak Hills has tied the score at 14. The sequence that follows has a great bearing on the outcome. Jaden Max Denigal retrieves the bobble snap. Matthias Solaita and company in hot pursuit. Matthias Solaita drags Denigal down from behind. Denigal's left ankle buckling under. Denegal is forced to the sidelines and does not return. We are 4 minutes into the second half. To complete this game-changing sequence, 3 plays later, the Sun Devils set up to try a 54-yard field goal. The low snap is mishandled, picked up, and fumbled. Buddha Paletti picks up the football in full stride and races 55 yards for the touchdown. The touchdown that ultimately brings the Mojave River League championship to Oak Hills. The teams slug it out in a scoreless stalemate the rest of the way, both defenses rising to the occasion. The third stroke of misfortune to Apple Valley's offensive leaders on this play. Caleb Most leaves with an injury after rushing for 103 yards. Hard-hitting play on both sides of the ball result in injuries by those who deliver as well as those who receive. Bulldogs leading tackler Buddha Paletti will be sidelined in the fourth quarter. I want you to take note of Bulldog number 33 shown at the end of this early play. That is Aiden Goddard, one of the team's tackles leaders of the year. He will be sidelined in the first quarter with an injury and not return. Charles King grabs on and hauls down the ball carrier on this play. Both defenses stepping it up a notch, knowing the league title is on the line. Gavin Hambrick's lateral pursuit runs down quarterback Andrew Garcia. Nathan Downing leads Apple Valley with 10 tackles this game. Nathan Downing's sack of the Bulldogs quarterback forces Andrew Garcia to the sidelines, although he will return on the next series of plays. Prince Thomas carries for 94 yards this game and will continue to lead all High Desert ball carriers in rushing yardage and touchdowns scored. Sean Young, 28, first to slow down Damian Guillen here before a pack of Bulldogs get in on the play. 20 is the freshman Carson Fox. 22, Raymond Iglesias. He leads all Oak tacklers this game with 8. There is only one turnover the second half. Ethan Lizami recovering the fumble as the Bulldogs hold on and register the 21-14 triumph. Oak Hills hosts Sultana Thursday to end their regular season schedule. Apple Valley goes to winless Burroughs. At first glance, these final regular season games would seem to be anticlimactic, but after seeing how close last week's games were involving both Mojave River League and Desert Sky League frontrunners, we take nothing for granted in terms of importance. While Silverado's win against Adelanto assured the Hawks of at least a share of the DSL title, the margin of victory was by but 2 points over a resurgent Saints team that had lost by but 2 points to Barstow. The Aztecs, Silverado's final regular season opponent, the game at always tough to play at Langworthy Field in Barstow. Silverado's Lyndon Ravare emerged among the stars in the Hawks' 28-24 win over Adelanto. The senior wide receiver scored the game-winning touchdown and added 2 interceptions as coach Kieran Jones' Hawks held off the Saints. Keith Reynolds accounted for all 4 Adelanto touchdowns. Coach Jeff Vanover's Victor Valley Jackrabbits close out their season at Adelanto Thursday. The Granite Hills Cougars secured their first postseason berth of the Coach Alex Gonzalez era with the narrow victory over Victor Valley. The 7-2 Cougars close out regular season play at Rim of the World. Those Fighting Scots are 7-1 and Skyline League champions. This play led to Oak Hills' Buddha Paletti being voted High Desert Player of the Week in the Daily Press poll. But later in that 21-14 victory over Apple Valley, the Bulldogs' leading tackler on the year left the field with an injury. While Oak Hills is the huge favorite against underdog Sultana in that regular season finale, the status of Buddha Paletti and other Oak Hills top defenders injured in this game is very important. Not so much because of the Sultana game, but because CIFs wait until the last minute to announce what division a team is in postseason. Teams will not be informed of their playoffs division nor ranking until that Sunday following their final regular season game. This much is certain: no playoff team will have an easy first-round opponent this year. So the Bulldogs must hope their injured players are able to return to action and no more injuries are suffered this week. Victor Valley's Kenyon Edwards Jr. races to maintain his place as the leading ground gainer in the conference with his 64-yard run against Grossmont. The dash precedes this touchdown, enabling Kenyon Edwards Jr. to remain atop the American Mountain Conference ball carriers with 9 touchdowns. The touchdown would be the only one of the afternoon against the visiting Griffins, 28-7 winners. The bulk of Rams' plays for this game's highlights reel belong to the defense, like this pass interception by Marquise Cato. The Victor Valley College tackles leader on the day is Darius Gibson, 42, whose 8 tackles this day include 6 solo stops, like this sack. The 6'2", 185-pound freshman linebacker from Adelanto is third in the conference on the tackles chart, averaging 6.5 tackles per game. Watch this sack by William Ikadi, 52, the former Silverado Hawk. The head slap happy William Ikadi is a 5'8", 320-pound sophomore. It will be William Ikadi establishing first contact on this gang tackle for a loss. 22, Mac Miller escapes the hold of the blocking Griffin to get in on the play. Mac Miller from 29 Palms in on half a dozen tackles this day. 14 is Nathaniel Glass, 6'4", 280, former Oak Hills Bulldog. Jordan Payne with the sack. Jordan Payne, 58, 6'3", 215-pound sophomore out of Pensacola, Florida. This is the third sack by a Rams defender we have seen so far this game, yet the official conference statistics do not show a single sack registered by a Victor Valley College Ram. Jordan Payne, this tackle for a loss on the very next play. Jordan Payne is credited with 4 solo tackles this game. Sack, Nathaniel Glass. 5 is Keyshawn Wilson, Adelanto sophomore. Trevon McCord, 23, Barstow, first-year Ram. And if this ain't a sack, I don't know what is. Grossmont's quarterback escapes the grasp of Steve Wilson, only to be brought down farther back by Elijah Smith, the freshman defensive back from Evanston, Illinois. Gabe Soddy, Jr., 70, bringing the quarterback down for a loss as he tries to set up and pass. Gabe Soddy, Jr., the sophomore defensive team captain. He is 6'1", 240, a former Apple Valley Sun Devil. The Marquise Cato interception comes in the fourth quarter. It is the 4th interception on the season for this former Apple Valley Sun Devil. The Rams' 8 interceptions lead the conference, and Victor Valley College is tops in yards returned per interception. Marquise Cato is also among conference leaders in kick return yardage. Watch as Gabe Soddy, Jr. sees every defensive lineman's dream appear before his eyes. Trevor McCord jars the ball loose. Gabe Soddy, Jr. sees it bounce his way, picking it up in stride. Visions of scoop and score in store, except for getting tripped up and losing his footing. A play for the highlights reel nonetheless. It was a sun-drenched and somewhat wind-blown afternoon. Grossmont aided by gusting winds when their punter evades the Rams' rush and gets the punt off, seeing it roll out of bounds 70 yards later inside VVC's 10. Grossmont scores in every quarter, their first on this 43-yard touchdown pass. Griffin's quarterback Chris Carter leads the conference in scoring passes. The run from 3 yards out, the visitors' second quarter score. It is 14-0 at the half. This is how Coach Artie Allen's Rams come out to start the second half. After receiving the third quarter kickoff that sailed into the end zone, the 64-yard sprint by Kenyon Edwards Jr. on their first play from scrimmage. The touchdown run that follows enables the Rams freshman to remain atop the conference with 9 rushing touchdowns. How greatly did the Grossmont defense lay in wait for Kenyon Edwards Jr.? His total rushing yardage on the day, 66 yards in 19 carries. The entire Griffin sidelines and all their fans in the bleachers roar loudly every time Kenyon Edwards Jr. is held in check, cheering as if their team had scored a touchdown. The Rams' passing attack is called upon to pick up the pace. K.C. Wilson delivers on target to Alex Gonzalez, a gain of 16. Alex Gonzalez, 5 receptions for 62 yards this game. The former Granite Hills Cougar has 16 catches on the season for 185 yards, and that's 18th best in the conference. Hosea Stokes, the former Adelanto Saint, a key player in the Rams' offensive scheme of things. This pass reception, one of a game-high 7 this day for VVC receivers. Hosea Stokes carries for a first down, one of the Rams' 5 first downs rushing this day. K.C. Wilson connects with 6-foot, 230-pound tight end Shamar Smith for one of the Rams' 8 passing first downs of the game. Shamar Smith is a freshman from Carlsbad, New Mexico. Grossmont's 3rd touchdown comes on a quarterback sneak in quarter number 3, and the day's scoring ends on the double pass, a 32-yard touchdown in the 4th quarter. Grossmont leaves Adelanto with a 2-1 conference record, 5-2 overall. The Rams 1-2 in conference, setting their sights on hosting powerful Pasadena City 7 days later, the Saturday of Halloween weekend. Griner brings you this Victor Valley College Online Sports Report. Griner Buick GMC in Victorville, proudly supporting VVC teams and athletes. Griner has the best damn used cars, period. Looking back in high desert sports history, former Apple Valley Sun Devil Jason Vargas starts Game 4 of the 2014 World Series. 2013 Bulldogs in a must-win to make the playoffs battle with Apple Valley. 5 years later, it is Oak Hills against the Sun Devils for the Mojave River League title.
Coach Dave Hoover's Victor Valley College Rams register the most one-sided victory in school history.
Adelanto uses every weapon in its offensive arsenal and lower the boom on Granite Hills, setting up a winner-takes-all showdown with Silverado for the Desert Sky League title. Let's begin this episode of This Date in Sports History with the Fall Classic, and the first graduate of a high desert high school to pitch in the World Series. Jason Vargas, Apple Valley class of 2001, was 31 when he started this World Series game against the San Francisco Giants. The following year, he was an American League All-Star while still with the Royals, and he earned his World Series ring when the Royals beat the New York Mets in 5 games.
Oak Hills in a must-win situation at Apple Valley, knowing a second league loss would mean probable elimination from the playoffs. Apple Valley riding a 5-game winning streak. It comes down to big plays by the Bulldogs, touchdowns from long distance, scoring plays from 76, 67, and 80 yards. The first Oak Hills big play, 3rd and long from their 24. Junior quarterback Nolan Brammer launches one, and 6-foot senior wide receiver Ryan McClain wins the battle for the deep ball. 4 minutes in, 7-0 Oak Hills. The first play of the second quarter. From their own 33, Gino Mestrandra is off to the races. 14-0 Oak Hills. Mestrandria for the touchdown. 21-6 Bulldogs.
Oh yeah, make it brave. Win or go home. Because if we lose, there's more things than not that we wouldn't make the playoff. And we knew we had to bounce back from a hard loss.
5 years later, it is Oak Hills against the Sun Devils for the Mojave River League title. Oak Hills running back Martinique Finn runs wild, an incredible 331 yards rushing and leading the Bulldogs to a convincing 35-26 victory over Apple Valley for the Mojave River League championship. The final score, Bulldogs 35, Sun Devils 26. Oak Hills opens postseason play hosting Chaparral in the Division 4 playoffs. Apple Valley is at home in Division 5's Round 1, taking on Diamond Ranch. Adelanto uses every weapon in its offensive arsenal: the short-ranged power blast, long-range aerial barrage, and mid-range quick-hitting ground assault to overcome a blitz of penalties and lower the boom on Granite Hills, setting up a winner-takes-all showdown with Silverado for the Desert Sky League title. Angel Ochoa directs the Saints' aerial attack, this 65-yard scoring pass to Marshawn Buchanan going a big way in breaking the game open in the second quarter. The premier running back trades playing against the Cougars this year for becoming a Cougar in 2020. He is a Washington State commit. Joaquim Allah hurdles his block and lands in the end zone with the first Adelanto touchdown. And Andre McDonald's 6-yard run gives the visitors a 19-0 lead at the half. First possession of the third quarter, Marshawn Buchanan scores his second touchdown of the night on the quick opener up the middle from 25 yards out. The Angel Ochoa toss to Amari McCullough turns into a 40-yard touchdown that puts Adelanto up 32-0 before Granite Hills gets on the scoreboard. The final, the Saints rolling to a 47-8 win before heading into their DSL deciding game against Silverado the following week.
Coach Dave Hoover's Victor Valley College Rams register the most one-sided victory in school history in defeating Compton 79-0, the widest margin of victory in Rams history. 10 different Rams score, with quarterback Sam Allen scoring the first Rams touchdown and passing for 4 more. The Rams defense is stifling, holding Compton to 82 yards total offense and but 5 first downs. Dennis Wynn with the sack. Wynn, the 6'1", 240-pound defensive end and former Hesperia Scorpion. The 2-year starter for the Rams has 16 tackles for a loss on the season. Dennis Wynn has a personal goal when it comes to sacks every game.
Yes, I do have individual goals. Like, I try to get 3 to 4 sacks each game. That's my goal. I set my standards high.
The Victor Valley College offense racks up 612 yards in total offense this day. The Rams lead the state in rushing touchdowns with 23. The final, 79-0. Victor Valley College moves to 6-1 on the year, 3-1 in the American Mountain Conference, tied for second with San Bernardino Valley and Mount San Jacinto. College of the Desert is 4-0 in conference. The Rams play at COD November 7.
The 2021 Rams are home this Saturday, hosting Pasadena City at 1 o'clock at Julian Weaver Stadium on the campus of Adelanto High School. The Bradco Companies present This Date in High Desert and Mojave River Valley Sports History. The Bradco Companies support the student athletes, teams, schools, and colleges and sports programs throughout our Mojave River Valley and High Desert. Your High Desert Sports Report is brought to you by Down Home Grill in Victorville on the corner of Bear Valley Road and Ridgecrest Road. Bid fast and last, sold on supporting High Desert Sports. Howard's, recognizing and supporting the teams, athletes, schools, and sports programs throughout the Victor Valley. The Bradco Companies, supporting all of the teams and sports programs throughout the Mojave River Valley. Iwanzak Law Firm, trial lawyers for serious problems. Valu Quality Truck Body. Valu manufactures state-of-the-art truck bodies for the construction industry nationwide. Greiner Buick GMC in Victorville. Greiner has the best damn used cars, period. And by the Community Table Restaurant in the Holiday Inn in Victorville, supporting High Desert teams, athletes, and sports programs. Terry Kurtz here, inviting you to join us on Terry Kurtz Online, immediately following your High Desert Sports Report. It's the most informative and entertaining half hour of High Desert television today. This is your High Desert Sports Report, the Victor Valley's only weekly action highlights sports program, covering our area's schools, teams, athletes, and sporting events. Thanks for watching.